Previously on the Frontier Farmer. We've got some pesky weeds in there. Tim has spotted something quite interesting. Here it is. Come on. Hey, I think this is going to be quite handy around the homestead. But we are weeding this field. Weeds are still present. And here it is. Our hay loft or hay storage building. Getting these hay bales over there and loaded. And then getting the grass bales under cover somewhere as well. So I'm going to zip around here, get all this grass mowed. Turn this all into hay, and then we can grab the forage wagon. And all the hay we collect can go straight into our hay loft. Deposit our hay in here. And we'll do the manure sweep and get this all spread across the field. Lower away, and off we go. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Frontier Farmer at the Dark Forest. We're now in June, and a month has passed since we drilled in our second field of sorghum, and good news, it has germinated, but much like field number 4, we have had some weeds crop up. And one thing I've learnt, because we used our weeder last time to weed field number 4, is that it's pretty ineffective. Because we have still a high volume of weeds in there, and unfortunately it has now gone to the next stage of growth, so if we were to drive in there with a weeder we would certainly rip the crop out. But I do have plans to buy a sprayer. Well, we have a sprayer, but we are going to upgrade it, because if we're going to spray we are going to be damaging the crop, and that's going to take it back a stage of growth where we drive. So you need to be quite conscious and make sure we have a big enough sprayer that we're not going to damage too much. But there is one of our pesky weeds. And in fact, if I show you the map, I can show you how bad it really is. So field number 4, which we supposedly weeded last time, has got quite a lot of weeds that have returned, and that's shown by the green. So really our current weeder is pretty ineffective, but as you can see in field number 3, the weeds are now rife, so we have got to deal with them. So the plan is for today, we are going to trade in our current weeder for one that's potentially better, and we are going to weed this field because we still can. It's only the first stage of growth, so driving in it is not going to damage it. But then later on we are going to trade in our sprayer and tackle field number 4 properly. So I've jumped in the International and we can grab the weeder with the front hydraulic. There we go. Reverse that out, and whilst we're on the way over to the distribution centre we can sell this Rostelmash cultivator, which is not really going to have much use on the homestead because it's too deep of a cultivator. It brings up too many big stones. It's almost like a plough, so not going to benefit us really. So we'll take it and sell it. Now we've made it over here, so we'll take it around the back to get it sold. So we made about 10,000 selling that cultivator and the weeder. And we are going to change it for this weeder here, the John Deere 825 row crop cultivator. And we are going to get the guide coulters on it, which are going to give us a bit of a boundary of what we are working to. 50 horsepower to run, so the Farmall should be a good machine to run this. 5,500. Here it is. The International can run it back for the Farmall to run it in the field. And we really do have a medley of equipment now, all sorts of different brands. Right, we'll drop the weeder, the hoe over by the field, and I think the farm wall has been helping get the TMR, total mixed ration, into the cows earlier on. It's dropped off there. The International can go in this shed for the time being. In the farm wall. And yeah, we don't need the mixing wagon. We want to head over here and grab the weeder. And I think it's safe to say that our hay loft is sitting quite pretty on the homestead. I'm glad that we got it and constructed it. Seems to be a good fit for us and keeps our hay nice and safe and out of the wet. It has been a very wet spring so far, but now we're into summer. I'm hoping we've got some decent weather. Right, so let's put our new weeder to good use and hopefully we can make this field weed free. And with that, I think that is the entire field weeded. I think weeding is one of the least rewarding jobs because it's very hard to see the difference between when you started and when you finished, but hopefully the keen eyes would have seen the small green weeds disappearing as I was working my way through. But the real test is going to be checking out the map to see that we have indeed cleared all those weeds. So let's get parked up and we can take a look. Now that is looking much better, nice and clean, no green. Not like field 4 where we've got strips of green all the way through. So our previous weeder just wasn't very effective at all for some reason. Despite me having good coverage, I made sure I overlapped on both jobs. But yeah, that's field 3 all nicely clear of weeds now, which is fantastic. Drop that off. Now that isn't a width upgrade to our previous weeder, it is the same 4.5 meters, but it is effective, so that is much better than the previous one in my eyes. But we'll leave it there because we need to grab the sprayer, and we are going to be swapping this with a larger one that's going to mean that we damage the crop less in field number 4, because if we've got a wider sprayer we don't have to make as many passes. But we will empty the liquid fertilizer that is in here, and we will have to purchase some herbicide because we haven't actually purchased any herbicide yet on the homestead. Now I think I'm going to see if I can unload here. And I'll just move the IBC over there because for some reason this commodity storage yard just does not like receiving liquid fertilizer, whether it be in a barrel pallet or the IBC pallet. Very strange. Right, let's head back to the distribution centre and trade in our sprayer for something a little bit better. It's nice that we have reached summer at last, and there's no rain on the forecast, which is good for once. But I've probably jinxed it, so I better touch wood. Hopefully we're not going to get any more rain. And as a trade-in, we are going to go for the LiQWYD 128 sprayer. It can carry 500 litres and it can do both herbicide and fertilizer. And it's pretty cost effective at $1,350. Now I was very much debating getting this Juniper 3000 because it would be a nice addition for the homestead. but I feel that we don't need something this big just yet because of the field sizes, and it would be a nice thing to aim to upgrade to. I always like having a few pieces of equipment that we can upgrade to in the future, and it's quite expensive, so we don't want to outlay that just yet. But we will need some herbicide, so we'll buy these barrels. There we go, we are hitched on and we can fill her up whilst we are here. I'm hoping that we're going to have enough capacity to do the field, because if the barrels are over here, we don't really want to have to return to refill. So maybe I will take the sprayer back and go get the wheel loader to cart the herbicide barrels back, just so we've got them to refill if we need to. So we can get set up in the starting position. We'll hop in the Volvo and go and get the barrels of herbicide, just so we've got a means to refill close by if we need to. The big bag lifter. And journey over there. Now this wheel loader is a secret hero of the homestead. It's always come to the rescue when we've needed it to, and is very versatile. It really can do a lot. It can obviously take trailers, it can come and lift up pallets, and it can also clear stones now since we bought the stone bucket, and it's also been very, very powerful at lifting all of our logs when we've needed to. Right, we've got the barrels, so let's head back. I think we'll drop these by the other barrels over on this side. Then they are there to come and refuel from if we need to. Beacon off, mission accomplished. So we're back in the farm hall and we can get our sprayer unfolded. This is going to give us our indication of starting location and how wide we can go. Now you would have seen when I was weeding, I very gently brushed the sorghum and it turned a little section brown, and that's what's going to happen when we start spraying here. When I drive through, it is going to take the sorghum that we are touching with the wheels back a growth stage, but that's not too much of a problem, because if we do that we will just have to wait an extra month for us to be able to harvest that section. But we are going to have to wait that long anyway, because field number 3 to the left is also in need to grow and get to ready to harvest. So yeah, we have no qualms about waiting a little bit longer for these bits to catch up. But there you go, that's the brown coming in because we're driving through the crop and damaging it, but luckily our narrow wheels only take it back a growth stage rather than destroy it. So I'm going to get this all herbicide sprayed, get rid of these weeds, and I'll see you when we're finished. Switch off and fold up, and I did that last pass just having the left hand side of the sprayer overhanging because I didn't want to really drive through again, and there was just a little corner which I couldn't quite reach on that last row. There we go, I'll call that mission success, but obviously we don't want to make a habit of driving through and damaging our crop where we can avoid it. If only the previous weeder we had was effective, then we would have no need to herbicide spray. But it is potentially something we are going to have to do in the future when our fields are bigger. But we'll make sure we do it much earlier on and with a bigger sprayer, so there's less potential to damage the crop. So good news and bad news. Good news is that we have got rid of those weeds which were plaguing the field. But bad news is if I look at the growth page, I can see that the lines we've created are in fact counted as harvested, which to me means we have actually damaged the crop and it hasn't gone back a growth stage. It is permanently damaged. So we are not going to be able to harvest that, unfortunately. So where I thought we'd gone back a growth stage, we have actually destroyed the crop, which is a shame. But unfortunately, we cannot help that situation now. I can only hope that because we've removed the weeds, we are going to get a better yield from that field than the crop that we've just destroyed in the tram lines. But yep, that is the nature of us doing our homestead farming. It is a bit of a learning, and of course, I do want to minimise using herbicide in the future where we can, but if we do need to use it, we obviously want to use it as early as possible so we don't damage the crop. So we can lower the sprayer, get that dropped off, and we'll put the hoe back in the shed first and the sprayer in front of it. There we go, that's looking a lot neater, and we can park up the farm all. Because for this afternoon, we've got a little bit of a different project planned. We don't need to do any more work on our fields. They are weeded, fertilised, so they don't need to be touched until harvest time, which is good. And this afternoon's project is going to involve this area around our cabin, because it's looking a little bit messy, and I think it's time that we gave it a bit of a mow and got our garden looking a little bit neater. So for that, I'm going to jump in our fantastic salvage find, the John Deere AMT 600, and we're going to go back to the distribution centre because there's something that we are going to buy. Look at me go! No hands! So to mow around our log cabin, we of course need a mower. And this John Deere 56 looks absolutely perfect for us. It's 23 horsepower, it's got a 1 meter width, and it's only $850, so that is pretty good. Do indeed need to tow it back though, so this John Deere 22B trailer is going to be perfect for the job. A bit more expensive at $2,800, but worth it. Go, our trailer and mower look fantastic, and we can get the AMT hitched up to the trailer, and then we can lower down the ramp so we can get the mower loaded up. Perfect. This looks so tiny, but we'll hop on it and start it up. How cool. This is very diddy and quite cute. But I think it's going to be a very good mower for us to go around the log cabin area and any other small areas that we want to mow. Oh, that was a bit hasty, but I've got on the trailer. We can switch that back off again. And there we go. Let's hop back on the AMT and fire up. Get the ramp raised, and we'll probably lash the mower down just for safety. Super. Right, we've got our little John Deere convoy, so let's head back to the homestead. Kind of look like John Deere enthusiasts driving through the dark forest with this equipment. So we've made it back, and I think I'm going to park around the back because we have a handy access gate over there. So we should be able to just pull up this way and make it around the corner without hitting tap. That's perfect, and then we can back up the trailer to get our mower into the grass area. There we go, that should do it, and we can lower the ramp. Gently does it, and we can unlash the mower, shut off the AMT, and we should be able to open this gate up. Yep, it goes that way. Perfect. Up on our mower, and we can get that into the field, or the garden. I guess it's not really passable as a field size, but yeah, nonetheless, it is our garden, and we want it to look nice and neat. Right, let's close this back up. And then we should be able to start mowing. We engage the mower and lower it just like any other equipment. And there we go, we are cutting grass. Fantastic. Right, this is pretty cool. I'm going slow because I don't want to hit into any fences and so forth. In fact, I think we'll do the old cruise control. It is a bit jerky because it's a small machine. Right, there we go. We are mowing. And this is a mower, not a mulcher. So the grass is going to remain on the ground. We might have to come and collect it up to make it look neater. But yeah, we are mowing. So I'm going to get all this grass area mowed, make our front garden look a lot neater. And I'll see you when we're finished. And there we go. I think we have finished mowing. There was just a little section there which was a little bit too tough for the mower, so couldn't quite do that. But we have mowed all around, which yeah, has made it look quite a bit neater. But of course there's loose grass left on the top. Now we could just leave that to rot away and add some nitrogen back into our grass area around the log cabin, or we could look to collect it. Now I'm not going to collect it this time, I don't think, just because we don't have anywhere to store grass. Our silage bunker is full of silage, and the sheep have quite a few grass bales already, and I can't really get the baler in and around here. So yeah, I think we'll leave it for now, but if the silage bunker is freed up next time we mow, we can collect it up. And there's a device we can buy for the back of the mower or the back of our John Deere AMT to pull along and collect up the grass. Right, that is the mower loaded on. Fantastic. Right, let's get the ramp up and we can get this stashed away. Close the gate and we can go get this parked up somewhere. And I think the perfect spot for the time being is occupying one of our new hay loft sections round here. So yeah, we can park it in there and that'll be quite a nice fit. There we go. Mower dropped off quite nicely, and what a fab job it's done of the log cabin garden. Right, I think we are going to give the chickens a little bit of grain just to make sure they are topped up, because they are reproducing, so we have to keep giving them a top up every now and again. Just a wee top up, half of the trailer, so that's not too bad. Yeah, they do reproduce quite fast, so we have to keep them well topped up, and luckily that has meant that we are producing quite a few eggs. We've got 2 full pallets there and another one on the way, which is good news. Drop the grain back in the silo. And we can park the AMT back in this little cubby hole here. Oh, so we have our first full pallet of wool and another one on the way. This is good news. And it looks like our sheep have reproduced. Indeed they have. So our eldest have reproduced to make another 4 younglings that are going through puberty. But good news is that we've probably got another 4 lambs on the way. And that'll be with us within another month or so because they're at 80% reproduction. Good news. Now our pigs are multiplying as well. So we have our 3 eldest which are reproducing again. We have our 3 in-betweeners that are going through puberty, and then our 3 youngest which are also starting puberty. Now the cows haven't reproduced yet, but they are looking quite happy here. Oh, they are at 80% reproduction, so we should see another 2 calves join the farm, which is good. They're at 100% health and they've got some TMR in there, which is good. And they're making milk. That's the most important thing. Now the horses are looking quite happy as well. They're getting their daily training because Tim is keeping them well ridden. And yes, keeping them nice and clean as well. So they are working their way up through puberty, but yes, they're not going to reproduce for a long while. And to be honest, I hope they don't, because that means we're going to need more oats. And at the moment, we are scraping by with what oats we had. And yeah, we've got plenty of hay, so that is good. But yeah, that oat harvest can't come soon enough. Now, the oats in Burfield are looking pretty good. My hope is that they are going to be ready to harvest next month, because we drilled them nice and early, and that means should hopefully be able to harvest them nice and early in the harvest part of the calendar. So yeah, that is the hope. And we've got a yield bonus of around 98%, so that is pretty good. Now, I don't know if Tim is in. Tim, are you there? Be good to have a little chat with him, just so we can talk about the plan for harvest time. Tim? Oh god, Tim. Sorry mate. Oh, we better leave Tim to it, we don't want to startle him. Catch up with him later. But we can mosey on back to the log cabin. Bit of an early finish today because we've got no other jobs. So I'm really hoping that those oats are ready to harvest next time. And that will mean that that frees up the field for us to drill wheat or barley, because that is a later year crop to drill. And yes, we certainly are going to need some wheat or barley for our chickens. But that is it for today. I hope you have enjoyed watching. If you have, remember to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you've got any tips, tricks or things you'd like me to do, then feel free to leave a comment. But all there's left to say is, hope to see you again next time on the Frontier Farmer. And until then, catch you later. Cheers all. Bye bye.